There comes a time in the life of a self-improving person when they look back on the past, see the fruits of their labors, and say, "I've done it." And then they often stop. Many businessmen, for example, hire a large management team to run the business and no longer devote enough energy to creative work. They lose touch with reality. Growth used to increase exponentially, but now what? For example, Google wrote to me today asking for my feedback on their work. Okay, you didn't have anything before. Google was founded by Larry Page and Sergey Brin in a garage, and then officially launched in 1998. Brin later became president of Alphabet, Google's parent company, until he stepped down in 2019. Imagine, Google was built in a garage. Back then, the guys were literally burning with ideas. Money was tight, but progress was colossal. If such progress were possible today, Alphabet would soon have an interplanetary exploration ship and be operating at least on the scale of our solar system. In fact, the opposite is true. With annual revenues exceeding $80 billion, Google and YouTube trail Yandex in many ways. Likewise, other competitors in AI technologies and services have long since surpassed it. In the garage, creativity, mental arts, was the primary goal. Today, Google is a lumbering mammoth with a market capitalization in the trillions of dollars, and its primary responsibility is stable growth and maximizing shareholder returns. Risky, long-term projects like interplanetary ships, which were once overseen by the X division, are often cut in favor of projects that guarantee short and medium-term profits. Advertising remains the cash engine on which almost everything depends. A small team in a garage could quickly make decisions and change direction. Today, Alphabet employs almost 200,000 people. Every initiative undergoes numerous approvals, is mired in internal politics and departmental wars. This structure dampens the burn that characterized the early years. Guys, your innovations are drowning in endless presentations. You're incapable of creative thinking. What have you done lately? You adopted TikTok's short video idea and launched your own shorts. Auto-dubbing isn't your innovation either. Google is even afraid to release products. This caution paves the way for bolder and smaller competitors. This is exactly what we're seeing in the AI race. Companies like OpenAI, Anthropic, and even Microsoft are acting much more aggressively because their primary goal is to capture the market, not defend an established one. For years, Google dominated search, and YouTube dominated the video market. But you no longer face strong internal pressure. The founders have retired, and the hired workforce is incapable of pursuing breakthroughs and driving scientific and technological revolutions. The fact that in some niches, for example in Russia, local players like Yandex have been able to create more deeply integrated and user-friendly services confirms this. They needed to compete for users in a highly competitive environment. Thus, Alphabet has become a target for new companies. Today's garage consists of small startups and research labs, burning with ideas and unburdened by a gigantic structure. Alphabet's challenge is to find a balance between maintaining its empire and trying to rekindle the same spark that once began with a simple search algorithm. So far, as experience shows, this has been a mixed bag. And the problem lies in our education system. Google's founders shouldn't have looked for successors through employment agencies. They should have been educating children from a very early age. Revolution starts with children, but only if we teach them not as is, but how it could be. The problem with any startup is the inability to change thinking. For example, the latest discoveries in quantum theory remain misunderstood, and the scientific world often thinks in terms of old dogmas. The same is true for programming. The coding language is long outdated. While it used to be acceptable for 1.44 megabyte floppy disks, it's far from the case now. A new programming language must be created. The number of basic values must be increased. This will lead to a reduction in the amount of code in programs and make the logic of AI models more sophisticated. The modern education system, for the most part, is still focused on training performers who are good at solving standardized problems. It teaches how to use existing programming languages, not create new ones. To think about new fundamental principles, we need not just programmers, but modern Leonardo da Vinci's, combining deep knowledge in mathematics, linguistics, physics, and philosophy. The modern system poorly encourages such interdisciplinarity, creating a new, advanced language, creating tools, and migrating millions of lines of code to it, which powers the world's infrastructure, seems like an impossible task. But this problem will become especially acute in the coming years. The world is locked in the golden cage of languages like C++, Python, and Java, not because they're perfect, but because the cost of switching to something radically new is astronomically high. This same inertia prevents the scientific community from quickly abandoning outdated dogmas. But the most important thing is that whoever starts creating a new language now will become a major player in the tech world. And it will be a revolution, guys. Make a name for yourself and write it into history, because there's still room. Join us, and we'll do it together. I'm actually planning on getting my garage in order soon.